Hi folks, welcome to Crisco's Corner. Unfiltered commentary. Not your truth, the real truth. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for your support. I think it's time for a rant. I mean, a real rant. I'm pissed, I'm angry, and I'm frustrated. I can't for the life of me figure out how the highest law enforcement agency in the country, i.e. the FBI, all the way down to local municipalities, i.e. cities and counties, their law enforcement, can go after frustrated, patriotic American citizens, not perfect, like the asshats that stormed the Capitol. The ones there at the rally, God bless them. And one by one, they're losing their jobs, even if they did nothing but attend the rally, which is definitely their right under the Constitution. I'm not talking about the people that stormed into the building. Actually, I heard there was a line waiting for people to get in. It was like a tourist attraction. Yeah, give those guys a fine. They walked around and looked. They were just gawking. But the ones that actually caused the violence, yeah, they should be punished. I have no problem with that. But I do have a problem with people that commit violence, destruction of property, ruin people's lives, and yet nothing happens to them. They have Antifa members in many cities around the country, especially in the Northwest, that have beat mercilessly people, that have burned down buildings, caused hundreds of millions of dollars in property damage, burned down a police station, set fire to a federal building. And yet when they're arrested by local law enforcement, they're let go by the local district attorneys, confessed to a felony, charges dropped. No bail, then charges dropped. No bail, then charges dropped. They turn around and do it again and again and again. And that insult to injury, the people that do protest against this kind of craziness are the ones that get arrested. There are people that just attended the rally in Washington that put their faces and talk live on their Facebook pages that are getting arrested and questioned by the FBI. What about all the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of photos of people arrested and then let go and charges dropped that committed real violence? They have all their pictures. They know who they are. They don't go after them. They have nothing to do with locking up violent protesters. I consider them terrorists. If I'm struggling trying to find the words, it's because I'm mad. I'm mad as hell. Anybody that's older knows the movie Network from the 1970s. When the anchor, when he started losing it in the movie, told everybody in the nation to put their heads out the window and say, I'm mad as hell and I'm not taking it anymore. And they did. It's an interesting movie. The whole thing's kind of an odd satire, but it's amazing how it fits into today. And that's the 1970s, folks. We're looking at over 40 years ago. And all of it is amazingly true. How networks and media and television stations lie, have crap reality shows. It's amazing. I have everyone that's younger to see the movie Network. Anybody that's under 40 to see the movie Network. And then come back in the comment section and tell me, my God, John, how the hell do they know? How do they know? Well, because they knew, because people are people. But I digress. Why? What are we to do? What are conservative people, decent, hardworking people that love this country, that love the Constitution, that love everything this nation stands for with all its faults, just like someone you love, and you love them dearly, but they're not perfect. They're not all about the worst thing they've ever done. They're about the good things they've done. And they've taken this country and they've made it into a shambles, a mockery. If America falls, if the U.S. Constitution falls, there is nowhere else to go in the world. And this is what they want. They're printing out money like crazy. We went off the gold standard, I believe it was in 1972. Allowed them now to do this. People like me, they have a little bit of savings left and not much. I'll be 65 this November. Our money will be worthless. Why are the rich getting richer? Because they're putting all their assets into property, gold, cryptocurrency. The list is endless. They're taking it out of cash. Anybody that has a 401k right now is absolutely screwed. And at the same time, we have our own government, our own local, state, and federal governments and their law enforcement that they control going after their political enemies. Meanwhile, the real monsters, the people that are actually causing harm, permanent harm, are celebrated and just let walk away scot-free. What the hell are we to do? Conservative people notoriously are very unorganized when it comes to protests and signs of marching and making our displeasure known to government officials. Whereas the progressives and the leftists, they're extremely good at it. How do we compete? How do we compete when all of the networks, all of the cable news networks, except for maybe one, is on their side as allies? All of Hollywood, all the culture is on their side. All the major universities in the country are on their side. 90% of the high schools are on the progressive sides. And now it's filtering down the junior high schools and even some of the really whack job blue states, the elementary schools. Teachers are teaching their students remotely critical race theory and all kinds of crazy crap, and how crappy this country is and how lousy it is and how guilty they should feel to be white or whatever they are. And at the same time tell their students, don't tell your parents we're telling you this. What the hell is going on? What happened? We can talk about why it happened. I guess it doesn't really matter now. What matters now is how do we fight back? I try to in my own way with a small YouTube channel. I really do. But I'm shadow banned and I'm a very, very tiny fish in a big, big ocean. But I'm doing my best. In fact, that's the reason why my business at the end did so poorly. Because of my political views. The local progressive organization has been around for a long time. I'm in upstate New York in Binghamton called Citizen Action of New York. Anybody familiar with those geniuses have put pressure on my store at boycotts and other things personally against me for years. And it finally caught up. But I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim to these monsters. I'm not a victim to these vindictive people that won't listen to reason, won't listen to the other point of view. It's my way or no way. If you don't agree with us, we'll destroy you. It's wrong, and they're evil, and they're causing tremendous harm. I fight back the best I can as an individual, but I don't see how we can compete with this, but we have to. We have no choice. There's too much at stake. How do we fight back? How do the people that are conservative, and not even just conservative people, the old school Democrats, and there's a lot of those, because I used to be one. I'm a Republican now, but The old, real liberal Democrats that believed in free speech and fair play and justice, not mob rule justice, but real justice. I remember the movie with Paul Newman, where he played the lawyer that was a drunk, and he had a case, and he was explaining it to the girl, ended up being a spy for the opposition in a bar, how the statue on the courthouse with the justice, the scales of justice, with a woman that's blindfolded representing justice, that the court system is not a guarantee at justice, it's a chance at justice. When do we get our chance at justice? When is our turn coming? I don't want to believe, and not just irrationally not believe, I don't believe, period, that it's too late. But we have to stop just standing by. We have to stop just saying, well, it doesn't concern me. Let those lunatics do what they do, because now they control everything. They control the Oval Office. They control the halls of Congress, Senate, and House of Representatives. They are now slowly rotting away the inside of our military. They've already rotted away the university systems. They've already infiltrated the Department of Justice, the highest ranking law enforcement officers in the country. And this cancer is everywhere. It's like a weed that's out of control, and every nook and cranny has in it. It's a virus that's worse than COVID-19. It's a virus and a pandemic worse than the pandemic at the end of World War I that killed millions and millions of people. To give you an idea how bad the pandemic was in the U.S., if you compare the population percentages, it would be roughly 5+ million people in the U.S. dying. We had over 500,000. And it's worse than that. It's worse than that. The Founding Fathers made the Constitution and the government setup idiot-proof. They didn't say that, of course, but they said it much more eloquent words than that. But I'm wondering, has the idiocy gone so far that not even the safeguards the founders put in there are enough? I believe it's not too late. I'm just trying to plant a seed in people's minds. You have small organizations in your cities and towns. My suggestion, number one, would be, no matter how tough it is, no matter how difficult it is, anybody that's living in a larger city, get the hell out. I know it's hard to move. I know it's expensive. I know it's uproots your family and yourself personally with everybody you've known your whole life in a lot of cases. But the ship is sinking. You have to get out of the big cities. So I guess my ranting is coming to a conclusion, at least for this episode, but we need to resist. And I hate that word resistance. I really do. You know, it's funny. Anybody ever saw the movie Amistad? Towards the end, John Quincy Adams, was the lawyer for the Amistad Africans. And they were afraid at the time that if the Supreme Court ruled in the Africans' favor, it would cause a civil war in the United States. Now, this is pre-1860. This is before Lincoln was president. And that was always their fear. The Missouri Compromise and things that kicked the can down the road to avoid civil war with the slavery issue. And then him representing the Africans and other lawyers, if they won the case, the country would turn to civil war. It didn't in this case, but this is what he said, at least in the movie. I don't know how historically accurate it is, but it certainly depicted the thoughts in the minds of the people at the time. And he said, this decision for the Africans, if it leads to civil war, then let it come. And let it finally be the last battle in the American Revolution. Until the next time, folks, goodbye and good luck.